Hi everybody. Today we're going to do an intro for R, and this is true whether you're on Windows or the Mac. Now, if you're on the Mac, you'll go to your Launchpad, and if you're like me, it won't come up. There. Okay, and you'll see the R. If you're on Windows, you're going to see the R on your desktop itself, and you'll double click it and it will come up. Now, everybody's is going to look the same, roughly. The windows will look a little bit different on the top, but it's going to be the same basic structure. Now you notice one thing that's a little different than you're used to is that the R runs from the command line rather than from menus. Okay? But you'll learn very quickly how to deal with that. And what I'm going to do, I will give you the actual code that you put in for every single thing that you do, so you don't have to worry about learning it in the sense that you can learn as much or as little as you want. But I will always provide the code for you. So you can use R as simply as a calculator. If I want to see what 3 plus 4 is, I just put in 3 plus 4, comes back with 7. Yes, it always puts that 1 with the brackets in there. It sees it as an output of vector size 1. I can do 3 times 6, and it comes back 18. Okay, fine. That's boring. That's no fun. So let's do something interesting. All right? What else can we do that would be fun? Well, who wants to create a bar chart? Ooh. Okay, good. Because that's what we're doing in this section. We're creating bar charts. So what I'm going to do is set up a bunch of values and count out how many of them there are and put them in the bar chart. All right? So we know that those are quantitative values, or I'm sorry, categorical values. So they're going to be, like how many cats are there, or how many dogs are there, or something like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make up some fake data. Now I would never have you do this. I'm going to say, all right, sample. You just watch. You won't have to do this. C of. I'm going to tell it to get some cats and some dogs and some ferrets and some parrots. So I like things that rhyme. Okay, and I'm going to have replace equals true. Don't worry about this. True. And how many of them do I want? Oh, let's get 50. Okay, and I said I wanted a bar plot. And then I'm going to swear because I gave you the wrong thing. Okay, so then you have your table. You have C for cats. So you've got your C, you have the same number of dogs, got a lot of ferrets, and not so many parrots. All right? So that's what you do. And essentially what I would say, I would give you a data set that had your cats and dogs and ferrets and parrots in it. And I would tell you, I would actually give you the code that said bar plot table of X, and you would just put that in and produce the chart. Now, if you read chapter 10, you would say, oh, wow, I need to put labels and things on that. And I would put in something like title of animal pets. Ooh. Okay, so then we would have it. All right, and this is very simple. And again, as I promised you, I will give you the exact code. All right, now what if I want to put some data in myself? I want to enter some data in. Well, you're going to use something I'm going to call the variable y. I'm going to have a numeric variable. And I'm going to use, let me back up a minute. I'm going to use the less than sign and then followed by the dash. I'm going to have them close together, no spaces in between. That's actually what's called an assignment character. And I'm going to use lowercase c, which actually stands for concatenate. And I'm going to put in 1 and 3 and 5 and 6 and 9. Okay? And if now when I hit enter, I hit return, nothing happens. But if I hit Y and then hit return, then I get the vector back, 1, 3, 5, 6, and 9. Okay? So what if I said, oh, well, that's okay, but I wanted to have a 4 instead of a 5 in there. So how do I correct that? Well, there's two things I could do. I could either go back in and type in the whole thing again. I would hit the up arrow and just scooch back and change that into a 4. That would work. And that's okay if you just have a little data set. But what if I had a great big data set? Let's put the 5 back in there. Okay, so now the 5 is back in there. Pretend for a moment that was a big data set. And I didn't want to go back in and scroll through it. I look and notice that's in the 3rd position, right? Good. So I want Y, and I'm going to use square brackets. I want Y to equal, or essentially to be assigned, the value 4. So now when I type in Y, oh look, now it's 4. Okay? So that's really all you have to do with the data. Now some of the time, if it's a little data set, you can key that in yourself. Just do like we're doing here. You either use that lowercase c and put it in parentheses and type it in, or you can also use something called scan. Okay. And you'll put in, so I just use the variable z. You put in scan, open and close parentheses, and you could put in 1, 3, 4, 6, and 9. And when you're done, you hit enter the second time, and it tells you that it read 5 items. Okay? So that's always an option. For large data sets, I will actually give them to you in files. And I do have a file, and let me show you something that you need to check before you bring the file in. All right, you have to have the file in the correct directory. You know about directories from doing stuff in Office, in Word, and PowerPoint, and all those good stuff. So in R, you have to see which directory is your current working directory. So you're going to type in something called get wd open paren, close paren. And I'm on my Mac, so it says it's in users EM Hodges. So my my file that I have my data set in has to be in EM Hodges as well, users EM Hodges. Okay, well I have one in there, and I can use scan, and then I put in file is equal to, and I have a file called statlit.txt, and there were 4 items in there. Oh look, wow, it's like a miracle. Okay, and that's as it should be. Okay, so then when you're ready to leave and you've had enough of this stuff and you want to run out screaming, before we run out screaming, let me tell you one thing. Things that you really don't want to give variable names are, do not use the letter C. Why? Because for concatenate. Do not use the letter T. T is an actual function name for something in matrices. Do not use Q. Q will mess you up when you go to quit because it's part of the quit function at the end. Okay? Don't use C, don't use T, don't use Q. All right? Now, when you're ready to quit, when you've had enough, you say Q, open paren, close paren, hit enter. Now, here's one place you're going to see a little bit of a difference between the Mac and the Windows. It's going to say closing R session. This is going to say save, don't save, cancel. On the Windows, it's going to say save, yes, no, cancel. You're going to hit save On the Mac, you're going to say yes. On Windows, that's the only difference. And poof, it's done. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.